Hello and welcome to the MRO show presented by Chadwell Supply. I'm your host, Adam Porter, and I am here today talking with Peter Walbolt from GE, and we're going to talk about all the exciting appliance news that's coming out and some of the interesting things that are happening in our industry in the coming year. Peter, it's so good to have you.
Pleasure to see you.
One of the things that we like to focus on at Chadwell Supply is solutions. And so I know that GE is also focused on solutions. You guys are always looking to respond to the market. What do the customers need? What are consumers looking for? What are some solutions that GE is working on that our customers need to get excited about?
There's a couple solutions that I think Chadwell and their customers really need to get excited about. So firstly, I look at behind the scenes. It's not necessarily something you see or hear about every day, but it's something you feel every day as a customer of GE. And that is, over the course of time, there were a lot of challenges throughout the COVID pandemic, right? A lot of them supply chain related.
Yes.
We spent a lot of time and a lot of man hours putting together a plan behind the scenes of what post-COVID looks like and how do we service our property management customers better through strong partners like Chadwell. And what that looks like for us is we focus our manufacturing. We have created focus models based on the volume that's out there in the market and anticipated volume. And we focus our manufacturing on those models so that there's less time in transit and there's less time for customers to wait. We find that a lot of our customers, everybody's gotten used to this Amazon model, right? And Chadwell has really done a great job of aligning themselves with that your order, our truck next day. That's kind of what that whole back room that we've established is set up to serve, which is the Chadwell model.
Right.
So that's one thing behind the scenes that I think is really exciting. Now, looking at it from a Chadwell salesperson and what solves problems out there in the industry, we've recently launched an all-in-one washer dryer.
Nice.
So it's a singular unit that washes and dries your clothes in about 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's large enough where you can fit a full king-size comforter in there.
Okay.
But that said, it's a ventless unit, so it doesn't cost a property manager money to actually vent that unit.
Okay.
And it operates on a 110 plug, so you can plug it into a standard outlet. What that means for a property manager in a renovation, they don't have to run a 240-volt plug to a dryer, which they normally would.
Yes.
And they don't have to vent that unit, which means on average, across the country, it costs anywhere from $350 to $1,000 per unit to vent and run a 240-volt plug. So the cost savings is real. The cost savings is there, and there's a lot of benefits to not just the property manager, but to the tenant at the end.
And so a couple of things you said that kind of triggered for me is one, you talked about the cost savings. Mm-hmm. Obviously, then you have an all-in-one unit. Tell me a little bit about the space savings, because space is always at a premium when you're in a unit, and we want to make sure that the residents in the units have as much living space as they can.
Yep. So from a space saving perspective, that's actually one of the things that we talk about, our marketing team talks about. And we've run different campaigns on what you can do with this new unit with the extra space that you have. So in an apartment setting, typically you either have a stacked or a unitized laundry unit in your closet, or you have a washer and a dryer side by side. So if you think about what you can do with that space, right? If you only have one unit, that's an entire half of the closet that's available for hanging clothes. You can put shoe racks underneath or whatever a tenant would want to do with that closet. The other thing that they could do is if it's a stacked application, you have now an entire half of the closet of space above it. So these are things that add value to tenants, and you could potentially even charge more for something like that because of the additional space that a customer has.
Well, and also just the perception of coming in and you see a product that looks high end, mm-hmm. that looks interesting, that looks like there's some technology to it, it increases the perceived value of something. And like you said, the perceived space as well is an actual efficiency return. So you have the option that, as you were talking, I was thinking, okay, so I could store cleaning supplies in there.
Yep.
I could store linens in there. I could fold some clothes, because I know if they're anything like me and my family, we might fold some clothes and always put them away immediately. So nice place to stash them while we're working on something or changing a load of laundry, that kind of thing. So I'd like to take a step back a little bit now and talk a little bit about the trends that are happening in the market, the trends you're seeing. You talked about coming out of COVID. You talked about how GE was very focused on not only getting on the other side of the supply chain issues, which based on the reports that I've seen, you guys have done a really good job at. You were focused on increasing efficiency in transit, increasing efficiency in getting to the market and helping us, as you said, you order our truck next day. Love that. But getting it to us, getting it to our warehouses, getting it to our branches, you guys have worked hard to be more efficient with that. So we appreciate that. So I wanted to take a moment to say thank you to GE for the work that you guys are doing along those lines. And now I'd like to ask you from a bird's eye view of the industry, Peter, where do you see us going with appliances in the next couple of years? What's going to be happening? Any new changes or any updates happening going forward?
If I look, as I look at the appliance industry overall, not just MRO, but if you're looking at appliances in totality, I view it as just kind of similar to what we talked about. I'll call it the Chadwell model going forward instead of the Amazon model, but it's obviously clear that you guys did a great job of kind of modeling what you do in the same light. Yeah. Customers love regardless of the customer, they love the ability to make something their own. They love the ability to customize. Yes. So we've launched, we've had the brand Cafe around for a long time. But we kind of relaunched it about 5 or 7 years ago, and we've seen a lot of momentum in that category because you have the ability to customize what you want. You can pick out the handle that you want to match with the different colors that you've seen. We see the matte finishes selling extremely well, whether that be slate in the kitchen on the property management and MRO side of the business, or the matte white or the matte black that we offer in our Cafe higher end lineups. So we see a lot of kind of people like to make the kitchen really speaks to the consumer because there's a lot of different things that they can do, and it stands out whether that be in a home or in an apartment, because that's where people congregate. When people come over and visit, they don't come over and visit and hang out in the rooms. They come out and hang out in the living room and the kitchen.
Study after study, survey after survey. Yep. When you talk to people and you ask them, and India, we're living it day to day in our own lives. Everybody's favorite room is the kitchen. Yep. We congregate there. We like to hang out. Feels good in there. It feels communal. Something might always be cooking on the stove and smelling pretty good. So, it is absolutely our favorite place to be in our living space. And so I appreciate that you said you're talking about ways to make that more inviting, make that more accessible for people as well, I heard. So talk to me a little bit about some of the trends that you see from a consumer standpoint and then from a manufacturing standpoint.
Yeah, from the consumer standpoint, we see them looking to find ways to make that space their own. What I think is really exciting between the consumer standpoint and making a space their own, but also what we're doing as an appliance manufacturer, we're really trying to align ourselves with those trends so that we're able to help our customers capitalize on what their end consumers want. And from also looking at it from the appliance perspective, when you walk into a kitchen, you don't see the brand of the countertop. You don't see the brand of the cabinetry. You don't see the brand generally of really even the faucet. I mean, it's really small and hidden, but you see the brand of the appliance. Yeah. So it's really important when somebody walks into a kitchen that they not just have a great experience with their appliances, but it's something that it's more than just an appearance, right? It's their overall experience. So we focus a lot of our manufacturing and what we do around quality. As an example, in the multifamily industry and in the property management industry, on our refrigerators, we test the open and close of a top freezer 1 million times to make sure that it stands the test of time, or that it can stand the test of time, and that there's a good experience throughout the life cycle of that product for our customers.
I love that you said that, because one of the things that Chadwell Supply is all about, one of our core pillars that we talk about a lot, is we work on focusing on delivering an unforgettable experience. And a lot of times that can come down to what might be a simple thing that you might not think about a lot, like the experience of opening the fridge or the freezer door. So you're talking about giving something that's quality, that's going to last, that people are going to not have to think about. So they're going to have a better experience. And that's what Chadwell Supply is trying to deliver. And that's why I'm glad we're able to partner with great suppliers like GE to help us deliver an outstanding, unforgettable experience for our customers. Thanks again, Peter, for your time today. Really enjoyed our conversation.
Yes, thank you for your time, and thank you to Chadwell Supply for their partnership. We're extremely grateful for who you guys are, what you stand for, and how you service customers each and every day.
Thanks, Peter. Appreciate you. Thank you for tuning into the MRO Show presented by Chadwell Supply. Look for us at chadwellsupply.com/the MRO Show or listen to us on your favorite podcast service of choice.